Source: The Second Continental Congress, 1775 to 1776. In 1774, the Continental Congress agreed to meet again if the British ignored their complaints. After the battles of Lexington, Concord, and Bunker Hill, it was clear that the relationship between the colonies and Britain was not getting any better. The Second Continental Congress met on May 10, 1775. The delegates included some of the greatest leaders in the colonies, including John and Samuel Adams, Patrick Henry, Richard Henry Lee, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, John Hancock, and Thomas Jefferson. The delegates at the Second Continental Congress had much to talk about. Even though soldiers had been killed on both sides, they were not yet ready to break away from Britain. It would be another year before Jefferson would write the Declaration of Independence. The Continental Congress took steps to begin governing the colonies without Britain. It began to print money, and it set up a post office. The Congress also formed committees or groups to work with Native Americans in foreign countries. One of its most important actions was to create the Continental Army. The Army could take over the work of local militias. Soldiers in the Army could form and carry out plans for fighting the British. All the members of the Continental Congress chose George Washington to command this army. The delegates then gave Britain one last chance to avoid war. They sent a petition or a formal request to King George III. It told the king that colonists wanted peace and asked him to protect their rights. It was called the Olive Branch Petition. The king turned down the petition. Instead, he prepared for war. He hired more than 30,000 German troops called Hessians to fight with British troops. Many colonists did not want to break off from Great Britain. Still, support for independence was growing. One person in favor of independence was writer Thomas Paine. Paine came to the colonies from England in 1774. He soon caught the revolutionary spirit. In January 1776, he printed a pamphlet called Common Sense. Paine wanted a complete break with British rule. His pamphlet would greatly inspire many members of the Continental Congress to push for independence. The delegates at the Second Continental Congress debated or argued back and forth. Some wanted the colonies to declare independence. Others did not. While the delegates debated, Congress chose a committee to write a Declaration of Independence. This is a statement to Britain explaining why they wanted to become an independent nation. John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, Robert Livingston, and Roger Sherman formed the committee and began work on the Declaration in 1776.